Hey, 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 fam bam.
What's up?
What's up? What's up?
What's up?
So today, you guys, we want to talk about how do people cope after losing their sight, right?
Right.
So I kind of want to ask my husband about this because he does have experience with having sight and then losing it, even though he was younger. So I don't know if it was easier to cope with because you were a young kid at the time, or how was it?
I don't think it was more so easier. I just had more anger about it when I was younger. And I'm sure that's the way a lot of people feel when they lose their sight later in life.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I was just more so mad at God about it. Because I couldn't figure out why he would do it to a kid like me, in general. But it was definitely an adjustment. It wasn't like let's just go on with life. It was more like, oh, why am I here? Why did it happen to me? Over time, I learned to deal with it, and I just learned to understand why it happened. But initially, it was like terrible. I was 12 years old. I was in the verge of being a teenager. Life was happening, pretty good for me back in that day, early 90s. And coupled with it was different because I didn't know any other blind people. I had never met a blind person a day in my life. Only blind person I knew of at the time was Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles.
Right.
So, I did homeschooling for like the rest of my 6th grade year. And when I went back to school, I had to find a way to fit in with people, which was not easy. Being the only blind at the time, I was the only like totally blind person at the school when I was there, and yeah, it was difficult. I had to find a way to get in with people, so I started learning. Like, I think my first time getting the attention of other sight people was when I rapped the whole like "Shed So Many Tears" song by Tupac at the time. I couldn't do it now, so don't ask me to do it now. But you just have to find different ways to cope, and sometimes it might be talking to somebody. Like right now, a lot of adults who go blind, there's a lot more support out there, whether it be in person or online. Like, I'm a part of this community called International Blind Cafe. They got a website, internationalblindcafe.com, and it's just a group of people who lost their sight or has low vision, and they're worldwide. So it's always someone to go in there and talk to, whether it's in the morning or at night. And they're a great support group for a lot of the adult blind people who I've met that has lost their sight. And then in your local city, if you're in the United States, I'm sure there's probably some form of blind counseling. If not, you can reach out to the NFB, the National Federation for the Blind, and you can find some help there. But as far as coping, it just depends on the person and how they cope. You know what I'm saying? Because getting yourself initiated into like drugs and alcohol, that doesn't really cope. You gotta find more so someone to talk to about it. And when I lost my sight the first time, it was hard for me because I was a kid. But the second time when I lost my sight, it wasn't so bad because at the time I had found the International Blind Cafe and I knew other blind people. I had known other blind people by this point in real life as well. So it wasn't so harmful for me because I had lived most of my adult life as a blind person anyway, prior to me getting my sight back. I only had my sight from the age of like 30 to 40, 41, something like that, like 10 years. Versus I have been blind since I was 12, so I had 18 years of experience of being blind. So the second time around, it wasn't that hard for me. And I've been through the experience of some people may not take uh, heed in what I say, but when I say, God healed my sight the first time, when they got telling me there was no way for them to do anything, it might have took a long time for them to allow it to be fixed. You know what I'm saying? But they found a way through technology to fix it the first time after telling me for so long that there was no way for me to fix my sight. So, no, it's fine.
Because it's still cooking, whatever's in there.
Actually, it's not. It's on the timer on my phone.
Okay.
So, technology may not, be able to fix it now, but I believe in God can do a miraculous miracle. Mm-hmm. And if he don't want to do a miracle, I believe He gonna put the technology in man's hand to fix it the same way He did the first time.
Right.
So I'm a big believer in that, and so I just trust in God, and that's how I don't really need too many coping methods this time around. But like I said, as far as coping, what I find makes a lot of the visually impaired people who lost their sight when they was older, what they say is just being able to talk to other blind people or visually impaired people. It helps. It ain't so much like, oh, let's go get some drugs or let's get some alcohol, and it's nothing like that. It's more so just find someone to talk to, whether it's a counselor, a friend, or whatever. It's just, a matter of finding someone to talk to. That's what I think.
Yeah, well, I know some people have wanted to know what happened, like how did you end up losing your sight? So, did you mind maybe giving a short version and then you can do a long video?
I mean, excuse me.
I know a couple people been asking.
I'll just make it a separate video so I can explain the story more in detail. But the basis of it is, I had Steven Johnson syndrome when I was 12. And for those that don't know what Steven Johnson syndrome is, it's a condition in which your body attacks its own mucous membranes, the moisture content in your body, your tear ducts, your sweat glands, everything that produces the moisture to your body. And so what happened was, as a result of that, my tear ducts dried up. And as a result of my tear ducts drying up, they weren't able to produce any moisture from my eyes. And my eyelids became sharper because they were so dry. And what happened was they scratched my cornea, which caused me to have scarred corneas, in which I couldn't see through the scars on the cornea. And it caused me to be blind because of that. And you're thinking like they would have just gave me a regular cornea transplant, but due to the fact that I don't have any tear ducts, a regular cornea transplant wouldn't have worked. So that's why they couldn't just give me a regular cornea transplant when I was 12. But that's the short of it, pretty much. Due to scarring the cornea, pretty much is why I lost my sight the first time.
Wow. So, well, I pretty much was born with glaucoma, so I don't have the experience of having my sight and losing it. I was pretty much born with low vision. So, but I have talked to other people who have lost their sight, in their lifetime, and there's a lot of people. I've heard many stories about people losing their sight due to accidents or things happening to them or medical issues that have taken place that took their vision. But I was talking to one of my friends yesterday, and she's someone who lost her vision at a later age. I think she was 18 or 19 when she lost her vision. And it was hard for her because she was in her senior year of high school. I think she was 18. She was in her senior year of high school, and something happened to her and then she ended up, losing her sight. So the thing that I really, kind of, I guess I kind of understand about people who have lost their vision. It's like the way she explained it to me is you basically have to start all over again, you know? Like she went to school, she, had plans and everything, but then she lost her vision and she had to learn everything over as a blind person. Like you had to do that, right?
It is a learning things over type of thing because as a blind person, um, I wasn't used to reading braille, so
Mm-hmm. You had to learn how to read
I
all
had to
over
learn how
again.
to read all over again, and I still don't read braille that well. And I think that's as a result of me not reading braille that well. It has a hindrance on how I spell things sometimes because when I was able to see during the 10 years I was able to see, I could read things perfectly fine,
Mm-hmm.
and reading just came natural to me, like in general. But for some reason, I equate uh, the lack of my being able to spell things fast or bring up the spelling of it fast, or just not being able to see it in my mind. You know what I'm saying? But people who are blind, they see it in their mind because they've been reading braille for a long time. And
Mm-hmm.
when you learn how to read braille, I never got good at reading braille. You know what I'm saying? I was just okay at reading. I could read it, but I was never like proficient at reading it. So I think that made a difference to me.
And now you don't read it at all, right?
Not really, not on an everyday basis, no. But I can read it still if I have to. I tried to. I've tried to take steps to try to learn how to read Braille all over again. Like they have a program through Hatley School for the Blind. It's online, and you can order Braille books from them. I haven't done it yet, but I know they have it out there so you can order Braille books. But when you lose your sight, it is like learning life all over again. You have to learn
Mm-hmm.
how. If you were cooking, you have to learn how to cook
Cook
again.
as a blind person.
Yeah, you
You
have to
gotta
learn
learn
how to
how to
live life as a
get
blind person
around as
again.
a blind person. You gotta learn how to read.
So
You
it
gotta
is
learn
like
how to.
starting all over.
Yep.
Totally start all over.
Mm-hmm. And because of that, it caused her to have to take a couple extra years in school because she was about to graduate. But when that happened, she literally had to go to the school for the blind and start all over. And it took her 2 years, you know what I'm saying, before she could graduate. And so it's like, yeah. And for some people, it causes them to be in a dark place because before they lost their sight, they had all these plans. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They had goals. They wanted to go to college. They wanted to become this person or that. They had career goals set, and then all of a sudden, boom! Within a day or within minutes or hours, sometimes it happens all at one time. You lose your sight, and now you have to figure out who you are as a blind person. How do you cope? What are you gonna do now with your life? Are you still able to do what you wanted to do before you lost your sight? If so, how am I supposed to do that? And sometimes it can be harder to reach your goals because there's obstacles that we face as visually impaired people, and we have to learn how to overcome those obstacles so that we can still fulfill our dreams and fulfill our aspirations and things like that. And sometimes, you know, it really takes a strong person to be able to, get in that mindset of, I can do this, I will do this, I'm going to overcome, I can be whoever I want to be. And for my friend, she's just getting into that space, but for a few years, it was hard for her because she didn't know anything about being blind. And like you, she didn't know any blind people. This was a completely new world for her.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like she had to do something. She had to cope with it because she wanted to still move forward with her life. And for me, since I was born with glaucoma, and glaucoma is an eye disease that starts to take away your vision. So for me, I was kind of set up for, hey, if you lose your vision, you'll be okay because you've had I had mobility. I was going to school and learning mobility as a blind person. I was learning braille at the same time that I was learning to read print. I was learning how to read braille all at the same time. So if anything was to happen where I lost my sight at any time, I would be equipped in a way, even though it still would have been a life change for me. I still would have had to cope with not having my vision, but at least I did have some skills, you know. So it was kind of hard trying to learn in school, learning how to be a sighted person, but also learning, you know, in case I ended up being a blind person as well. So that was kind of tough, but you know, for little kids, it's you know, since little kids are such sponges, like
they're more resilient.
yeah, and they can take in more information. Their mind and everything is like a sponge, so they retain information. And so it wasn't as hard for me as it sounds.
Do you think
but
you
it was
still
like
read Braille
learning
now?
two languages at the same time.
Do you think you still read Braille now?
I could still read what I learned. I only learned Braille all the way up until like 6th grade, but it wasn't like a consistent thing. It was just like, you know, in my resource room, my teacher might say, okay, Santina, let's work on some Braille for a little bit. You know, it's not like I actually had classes. It was just like in between, my teacher would find time, you know, for me to work on Braille. Like I know grade 1 and part of grade 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what has changed in Braille since I was in middle school in the early 90s from today. I don't really know. A lot of things are more computerized now.
I will say that as a blind person, and for anybody who lost their sight recently or in the last couple of years, and it sounds crazy to say it, but this is the best time in life to be blind because there's more technology. There's more accessibility. Mm-hmm. There's more ways to get information. Like YouTube didn't exist maybe 20 years ago. It didn't really exist. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It wasn't around. But now,
you didn't have
that. Now you can go to YouTube. You can find other blind people like this channel. You can find people, you know what I'm saying, who talks about their experience and can help you cope and understand how to get past things. And speaking of coping, you know what I'm saying, like recently you've experienced some sight loss as far as what you were able to see and what you can see now still. So, I mean, like, did you have to feel like you had to go through coping with that?
Well, to be honest, I know I did a video maybe like a month or so ago about coping with having some vision loss. And, yeah, it's times where I feel really down about it because it was, you know, like when you have something that you've depended on and then you lose it, it can be a very depressing thing. Like my eye that I'm losing my vision, that I have started losing vision in now, that used to be my good eye. That was my dependent eye. I was able to depend on it. And now it's weird to look out of that eye and not be able to see, not be able to focus or make things out. So, you know, it's really tough, but you know, it's a gradual thing. But I still have dreams of God healing me. Like even last night I had 2 dreams where I woke up and I was able to see clearly out of that eye. So I know God is doing something, but just in the state of where I am now before that healing is manifested in my life, it's tough. Because not only am I dealing with vision loss, I also have my husband who is blind, but he's very, very, very independent. You know, like a lot of things that Tremaine does, I don't even know if I could do it if I was blind. Like how confident he is as a blind person, I don't even know. Like when we lived in Detroit, he would walk to the store by himself. He would catch the bus and go all kind of places, and where I'm at home worried about him, hoping that he's going to get there, he's not worried at all. He knows what bus routes to take. He knows how to transfer to buses and everything. And I think if I was to lose my sight, I don't know, I would really need to depend on him because I don't know if I would have the confidence that he has. He would have to teach me a lot.
I think confidence comes with time from people who lose their sight. Like, I know people who've lost their sight. And I've known people, like, some of the people I met in the group, they've probably been blind their whole life, but they were cuddled.
Coddle.
Coddled.
Mm-hmm.
Coddled. You know what I'm saying? By their parents or whatever.
Yeah.
So they don't have the experience. They don't have the drive to go out and do things. And then when they do go out and do things, they're a little bit more afraid because they don't have their parent who they depended on to travel. Like
Mm-hmm.
a couple of friends and I are planning on maybe meeting in Chicago this summer.
Oh.
And there's some people in the group that's like, well, I don't know because this would be my first time trying to travel by myself. And I've traveled by myself as being totally blind. It's a little scary, but it's doable. You just got to know how to do it and trust in yourself. And like she said, have the confidence.
And there are people to assist you. It's not like we don't need assistance. We're not superheroes, or we do need assistance, but you just gotta be willing and open to ask for help. And some people don't want to do.
You gotta have the confidence, like you said. And some people don't have confidence because they either just recently lost their sight or they've been coddled.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Did I say that right? Coddled.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been coddled all their life.
It sounds weird now.
Coddled.
Okay.
Coddled. Yes, but, and what I mean by that is when I say that, just in case you don't know what I mean, it's like your parent or your guardian or whoever it was in your life helped you a whole lot. They didn't challenge you. Like, I know some people that's been blind their whole life and they don't know how to cook because they never had to cook for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
When I first lost my sight, I wasn't cooking for myself. But when I got to high school and I met other blind people and they were cooking for themselves, I'm like, if he can do it, I can do it.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? It was more so I didn't want to be left behind the curve. And some people are left behind the curve because they don't have the confidence. But like I said, confidence comes with later in life. It comes with just trying to experience it, trying to take a risk, trying to do it by yourself. And even in the world, you got to cross the street and someone's at the light, you can say, excuse me, can you help me across the light?
Mm-hmm.
If you're somewhere and you need help, don't be afraid to ask for help. But there are some people who, don't get the help. Just recently, a friend of mine was traveling, and they got a guide dog and everything, but they got turned around, and they were asking for assistance. And the people on the street, sometimes they are buttholes.
Yeah, they can be.
Because the dude literally told her, like, I don't know, I don't have time right now.
Dang.
And then she asked someone else, and the girl said, yeah, you headed the right way, but I asked to do it at the end of the block. I got to catch my bus. And it's like, to a blind person, how I know where the end of the block is? How I know where the dude get? But she eventually found someone who helped her, and she made it to where she was going. But you can't let the world get you down, even if people aren't willing to assist you. Just keep trying. You'll find somebody that's willing to assist you. Just ask for help. Like I said in the previous video, don't be afraid to ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing that you need to. That's what you need to cope. You need to be able to ask for help. You need to be able to talk to people, and that's the best coping tool I can give someone.
Because where you didn't need help before, now you do need it. So you got to be open to say, hey. What is that? What is that? I ain't never heard that before. Is that the air fryer? Excuse us, y'all. This is real life. Something is singing.
No, something else upstairs doing it.
Is it Michael, maybe? Something is playing a tune, y'all, and I don't know what it is. I thought it was something. Trey got something in the air fryer, but I never heard it make that sound before, so I don't know what that is. Or I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't know what that sound was, but yeah. Coping starts with talking to people.
Yeah. It can really help.
That's the best way to cope for me, to my understanding, really. Talking with people, like-minded people, or someone who's been through it, or a counselor, even just a regular counselor can help you.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't be afraid to tell them how you feel. If you're feeling lonely, tell them that. If you're feeling like it's hopeless, tell them that. But it's never hopeless. Know that.
It's never hopeless. Nope.
It might be challenging, but it's never hopeless.
But like I hear Trey on the phone with his friends from the group that he was talking about, and they learn stuff from each other. Even sometimes he'll come with a new recipe, like, "Hey, oh, such and such was talking about this, and I want to try to see if I can make it. You know, some food. You know, and then he'll make it, and we'll try it or whatever, and then they'll talk about it. Like, I think those like support groups, even though it's you know it's not really called a support group, right? It's just a group where
No, but it's like a
blind
support
people
group.
and visually impaired people can interact with each other.
Yeah, just to have
But
somewhere
it
to
is
talk
like
to.
a support
But
group,
it is
though,
like a
yeah.
support group. It's definitely like a support group.
Because they share their stories, and you know they give each other advice, and they crack jokes on each other. They play around with each other. I mean, I be hearing them talking to them, and they have a good time on the phone. So, you know, I think that's really cool. If you can find the group, it's on Facebook, right?
It's on Facebook. You can find they got a YouTube page. You can find the actual like website where you can join the Discord. It's an International Blind Cafe. And sometimes the Discord to join is a little bit challenging because they have a I'm not a robot challenge. And sometimes it works fine for you and sometimes it doesn't. But again, ask for help.
And these are people all over the world. Like,
If you have someone in your life to help you get past the robot challenge, go ahead and ask them to help you. If you don't have nobody, your local librarian, that's your local library, you can go there and just ask them to help you. Literally, it's so many opportunities. And then you can join the Discord and you can go in there and find other visually impaired people,
yep.
other blind people to talk to from around the world. And I mean around the world. We got people from South Africa, people from Asia, people from England, people from Australia, people from India. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of people on there from around the world as far as talking to.
You think we can put the link in the description?
Yeah, I'm sure we could.
Yeah, just for people to just be able to get to it if they want to.
I'm not sure how to do it, but we can figure out how to do it. But it's the internationalblindcafe.com. I think you could just type it, but I don't know. But yeah, we would definitely try to put the link in the description.
Yeah, so yeah, this is basically how people cope with, you know, losing their vision. And like I said, I can see it being a tough transition, and
It's super tough.
I pray I never have to go through that complete transition, but I do have a support system if that was to happen, but I'm expecting to be healed, so but I do have a great support system. And try to check out your local National Federation of the Blind. You know, it's pretty much in every state in the
America.
Yep, in the United States. So if you're here in the United States, just look it up. That's what I did. You know, once I moved to Ohio, I had to figure out, you know, who to talk to in Ohio, and I just Googled, you know, National Federation of the Blind, and all the people who are in charge of each chapter and everything just came up, and I ended up calling the person who was in charge of the Columbus chapter, and that's how I got started. And then I met the president, and then, you know, so now we're connected.
And if you're in a major country where they have good infrastructure, 9 times out of 10 they probably have some type of visually impaired or handicapped services where you can reach out and find some type of help or guidance. Because like I said, I talk to people that's from all parts of the world, and for the most part, they have someone that they can talk to. The only person that I ever talked to that probably didn't have anyone with some of the people from the Philippines. Some of the
Mm.
people we talk to in the Philippines, they don't have a good infrastructure down here for finding assistance with the vision impaired people. But even in South Africa, the people we talked to over there, they had good infrastructure over there where they were able to get some assistance. In England,
Oh,
the
that's good.
UK,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? Those areas, they have good infrastructure. So just check your local area and see what kind of infrastructure you have as far as finding help. And 9 times out of 10, maybe 8 times out of 10, you may find some help there. But other than that, if you can't find no help, just reach out. Find the International Blind Cafe. And it's a lot of people on there that you can talk to that can help you find maybe some resources that can get sent to you. Maybe even from over here or somewhere closer.
Yep. And don't forget you got us. You know, we're a family here on I Married My Best Friend, and you know that's the goal, to create a community for us and of us and everybody else in between. So, you know, and even if you're a sighted person and you know you're good with people, or you can be a good advocate, you know, if you see someone in the comment section saying something and you might have an encouraging word or something, you know, let's all communicate with each other, you know, reach
Mm-hmm.
out to them.
And that's pretty much a wrap.
That's it, guys. So that's what we do. That's how we cope. And share your stories in the comments. You know, what happened? How did you cope with losing your vision if you know, lost your vision at a later age? What did you do? Or are you still trying to figure out how to cope? Or, you know, just share with us.
Or if you just sighted and you have to cope with different issues in your life, just tell us how you cope, period.
Yep, because everybody has to cope. Even sighted people have
And
things
we
that
all
they cope
cope
with.
in different ways. We all cope in different ways. So
Mm-hmm.
make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe if you ain't already subscribed, or follow if you're watching it on some other platform.
Yes, please.
And share. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate you sharing. We
Sharing is
appreciate you
caring.
liking. We appreciate your comments, and we appreciate you.
All right, so we love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and thanks for all of your love and support. And we'll
And
see you on the next one.
peace. Oh,
Bye.
just in case y'all don't know, whenever I say
Oh,
peace, I do throw up the deuce sign. Deuce, deuce.
I just wave like a weirdo. Bye.
Peace.